Like, they clearly progressed technologically from that point to now they're making frickin' amusement parks, massive amusement parks. And like, water, treatment facilities, and all this other stuff. Like, again, how advanced were they technologically, and how long ago did they disappear? Again, we know it wasn't recent. It wasn't a recent extinction. It wasn't like they were here 100 years ago. They weren't here, like 50 years ago. They have, like, it wasn't like within Knuckles' lifetime that the last vestiges finally went away. They've been gone for a long time. That much is very overt to ascertain, even from this game alone. So, again, like, how long ago were they around, and what was their technological capability? Apparently, they were, like, pretty highly advanced, not only technologically, but culturally as well, because they prioritize leisurely activity. Oh no, how do I do it? I'm a stupid little stupid. I don't know how to do this. This is the hardest thing in the world. I can't possibly know how to press up and down on the fucking directional pad to fucking figure out you can move the thing up and down by pressing. Fuck you, Bat. I'm trying to make fun of idiots. I'm trying to make fun of idiots. Like the same, I swear to God, the same kind of fucking people who say that Sonic hasn't been good since the Genesis are the kind of people who make a fuss out of this. I, as a child, could figure this out. Press down, it'll go down. Press up, and it'll go up. Use the momentum. It's not fucking difficult, people. Like, the kind of fucking people. You cannot convince me that the kind of people who had trouble with that and act like that's some difficult thing to figure out aren't also the people who say, like, oh, all the 3D Sonic games are bad. Sonic hasn't been good since the Genesis. Yeah, the Genesis games that had that shit that you were apparently couldn't figure out. Yeah, look at how great these Genesis games are. Having this weird little sequence that you are too much of an idiot to ascertain. Look at this. Look at this characterization. There's an invisible wall here, but that doesn't exist in universe. So, apparently, in universe, Sonic stood there where the invisible wall was, and just watched Knuckles do that and run away, and did nothing to stop him. Like, he didn't even try and fight him. He was just like, hey, dude, like, you gonna do your thing now? Yeah, dude, like, that is a little bit of interesting characterization for Sonic himself, that he just stood by and let Knuckles do that. When in-universe, look at Tails' little swimming animation! When in-universe, there was nothing in between him and Knuckles that would have stopped him. God damn, these guys always screw me up. Yeah, fuck it. Look, he looks kind of green underwater like this. People who couldn't figure that out are stupid. Apparently they were pretty advanced culturally because they prioritized leisure. They wasted, not necessarily wasted, but apparently they had resources to burn on, let's just go ahead and make this here giant casino, this carnival. They made a frickin' amusement park on their giant floating island. What resources did they have that they not only weren't, like, you'd think, oh, a closed off, isolationist nation, that lives on a floating island would not only be struggling, to maintain their resources, like they would, you would think they would be in a scarce society. Their society would be one of scarcity and, pragmatic, whoa. I can get up there, can't I? And, rationing their resources to make sure that they don't run out. But no, apparently they were so, like, wealthy that they had resources to burn on just luxury entertainment. They said, hey, let's go ahead and put some of our energy to use and make a frickin' carnival to keep our citizenry entertained. There's no other purpose to this fucking location other than pure luxury. And apparently, like, that was no big deal for them. They could just go ahead and pop this out. Like, geez, again, that says so much about what the ancient civilization who used to live on the floating island had. Like, what, like, they wanted for nothing, apparently. If this is what they could do with their time. And this is a big amusement park, too. Like, look at, like, those are skyscrapers in the background there. Like, fucking hotels. You can imagine how many. Just the sheer number of what the people who lived on this island must have been. They must have been very populated. And now they're all gone. The only one left is Knuckles. Isn't that fucking creepy as shit? That all of those people, such a high... Again, Sonic stands there and does nothing. Lets him do that, walks away. And then he automatically goes back and jumps into it himself. Again, that actually says a lot about Sonic's character. Man, you can really cheese him out using the little spines on the jump there. I don't even know what you would call that. Oh, Jesus! Because if you jump into him normally, you're gonna take damage. Again, like, none of this, like, some stages they were obviously built by Eggman, but no, this was all already here. Eggman hasn't been here long enough to really get much industry done. All of this was already built. So now we're going to nature, untouched nature as, like, it is, engrossed upon by the industrial imperialism of man. Again, I'm telling you, all of these classic games had that dynamic to their levels. Yeah, I love that. This also started the trend of Sonic snowboarding through ice zones. A lot of trends that would maintain throughout the 3D games got their start here. You could almost consider, like, it's funny to think about how so many things of the 3D games' formula got their start here in this game. Whoop, don't get frozen. I also think this is the first ice level. Did Sonic 2 have an ice level? I don't quite remember. I don't think so. I think this is the first ice level in the Sonic series. I'm probably stupid. I'm probably stupid and just misremembering. But ice levels do become something of a staple of the series, too, from here on out. A lot of things got their start in this game. Look at these little penguin robos! Penguin robos! Look at them go! A little slippy sliding. Oh, they're so cute. I love the penguin robos. Eggman, why do you make your robots fucking animals? Why do you make animal robots? That's so stupid. You're taking animals and putting them as a power source in your robots, which you are designing to look like animals. You're fucked up, Eggman. I'm just saying. Eggman's got some fucking problems. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Zombieland, the Carnival Night Zone. The fact that it's completely abandoned, but still, like, has power, has all this... everything's still functioning. All of the rides still probably work. But it's completely empty. Like, that's like, it's like going to a school at night, you know? Like, a familiar, civilized location that you're used to being populated and filled with life, standing completely barren. That's its own kind of, like, uncanny valley feeling to it, right? Okay, don't fuck it up this time. Although Knuckles lives here, so I'm sure Knuckles has fun going to Carnival Night Zone and riding the Ferris wheel and getting some, probably some fruit, actually. I bet he doesn't... I would bet... No, he probably does have cotton candy, but I'm sure he'd get, like, a frozen banana or something. Or maybe, like, a grape-flavored ice cream. Pop. Oh, Lord, there's fun. Getting, like, an ice cream pop that's grape-flavored, I would bet. Again, considering the degree of technological advancement that the people who lived here were apparently on, like, I would presume that there's some sort of, like, self-automated food like, agricultural system. Right? That's not unreasonable to think, right? There's some sort of, like, automated farming system. Like, you know, in Psychopaths? Oh, for fuck's sake! Like, Psychopaths had, like, a farm that was completely automated. Like, no human employees whatsoever. Son of a bitch! This is the part... Now, fuck that, little dais, that little turntable in Carnival Night Zone. This is the thing that's fucking me up, and I entirely blame the controller! God damn it! I swear on the 360 version I do not have this problem. Oh my freaking god! So I bet there's some manner of a self-automated farm somewhere on the island that probably also, nope, automatically processes the crop. There we go, shit. That probably also automatically processes the crop and, like kind of Star Trek-y with replicators, but not quite. Like, I just imagine in my head some kind of, like, factory somewhere where the grapes are going through the factory and being turned into ice cream, you know? I don't know, maybe that's just me. There's a lot of things with these classic games that I really have a lot of, like, probably justification devoid headcanon about. You might listen to, like, all this stuff I say and be like, where are you getting that? You're just completely pulling that out of your ass, and you wouldn't be wrong. Like, for example, another thing I kind of always have had a little bit of a headcanon about is the springs. In the classic Sonic games, there's all these springs all over the place. And, like, you jump on them and then you go, like, you bounce really high off of the spring. But I always figured in my head, in my little Foxeh head, that those were a gameplay convenience. Like, those springs are there for our sake, as the player, to show us, okay, like, jump on this in order to bounce higher. I always figured the springs aren't really there. That's purely for the sake of gameplay. Because, like, I always watch the cartoons, and there's no springs in the cartoons. There's not these giant, like, brightly colored red and yellow springs that they're jumping on in order to bounce up places. Like that. That spring... I always figured, like, that's there for us. In-universe, that spring isn't there, and Sonic and Tails can just naturally jump that high by themselves. But because that's busted in terms of, like, a gameplay mechanic, you have to have... fucks. You have to have something there to, like, represent, okay, if the player jumps on this, they'll be able to jump super high. But Sonic and Tails don't need a spring to jump super high, they can just do it. And it's probably like very energy intensive to be able to do that, so they don't do it all the time. They do it when they need to, which is represented by the springs. Ah, didn't mean to pop that. I was trying to do the shield and I forgot that I had so many rings. That's fine, we're like right here at the boss anyway. Dude, this isn't even fair. I forgot how much Supersonic breaks the game, man. Wow, did I jump off of Tails' little ice block? That's funny. And I also like how, there's these ice caps within flying distance of, within cannon shot distance of a carnival. And then within spin dashing distance of this launch base. I think Angel Island is the New Zealand of Sonic, where it just has like 50 different biomes all in its ecosystem, right? Like, all of these are within walking distance of each other. This is a fun way to cheese extra lives. This is Sonic's version of getting a ring on the stepping stones and just hopping on it over and over and over until you just get a bunch of free one-ups. Look at this! You can get so many points! This is so cheap. If you wanted, and you were patient enough, you could just keep this going long enough to, like, cheese out thousands of points in order to get extra lives. These guys are always, like, the biggest problem for me. I can never figure these guys out. You have to be, like, so specific. Where you, like, gotta jump in the middle, in between their spiky balls, or, like, use your shield. Whatever you would call it. Whatever that is. That thing. In order to hit them, and, like, the fucking margin for error is so small, so, like, those are, like, some of the few enemies. Elevators! That I will usually just pass by whenever they show up. Ugh. Like, fuck, man. Like, that's so nerve-wracking. Look, like, this level is so fucking great. Look at this level. It's got elevators, spinny bops. Aw, man. Like, I talked about in Sonic 2. Any level that has those kind of things to it, like an oil ocean zone in Sonic 2, had those little pop-tops that would bounce you up super high, and little elevators that you would hop in and would shoot you. See, that always happens to me. That they would, like, shoot you all around the place. Sonic 3 has so many levels that have those things to it, like, these are some of the best levels, man. And also, this, I think, is the only stage in Sonic 3 that I say is built by Dr. Eggman. And again, we have that distinction. First level, welcome to Angel Island, nature. Second island, industry. Second island. Second level, Hydro Pump Zone, industry. Third level, Marble Ruin Zone. Ancient place. Fourth level, Carnival Night, industry. Fifth level, Ice Cap Zone, nature. And then this actually screws it up because you can tell that this used to be an ancient, not quite ancient, but like an old ruins. If you look at the ground, you can tell Eggman built the launch pad for the Death Egg back there. Like, the entire idea of this zone is it's a, like, launch platform for the Death Egg. But you can tell that it was once, like, by these buildings, particularly. By the architecture, you can tell that the difference in architecture, these were like Marble Hill Zone, whatever it's called. This was once an old, like, part of the ancient civilization that used to live on this island. And Eggman is building on top of it, just like he did at the end of Sonic 1. Where he built his final fortress on top of, like, the Mystic Ruins, or whatever it was called. So this should be rounding out the trialogy, the triumvirate, whatever the fucking term you want to use is, of classic Sonic levels, where it's nature, ancient, and then industry. Ancient ruins, and then industry. This is supposed to be an ancient ruin, but Eggman built on top of it and corrupted it with his industrial, like, roboticism ways. You know, his ways. So you can already see how, like, Eggman is kind of screwing up the natural ecosystem of this island with his influence. Like, I don't know what he told Knuckles to make him okay with this, with what he did here. That like, kind of screws it up a little bit. Like, what was his excuse? What did he say to him? Did he just, like, nah, man, I need to build my shit in order to stop Sonic and Tails? A fucking bomb? Seriously? You just had a straight-up bomb with a fuse on it and everything. Seriously, Knuckles? You're such a fucking... Where do you get that? You're blowing up this ancient building of your people in order to try and stop us, you fucking dick. Like, how stupid are you, Knuckles? Let's try and get some rings here so we can just supersonic... There you go. Supersonic cheese the fuck out of this mini-boss. Do 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 do. Music in this game obviously is incredible. You basically don't even need to mention that when it's Sonic. That goes without saying that the music in a Sonic game is fucking superb. There we go. Like, you almost feel like Knuckles doesn't even have a proper understanding of his heritage, of the civilization that was left behind, that he's been left to safeguard. Which is kind of tragic, and again supports the notion that they were gone by the time Knuckles was born. Like in Knuckles' lifetime, the civilization that used to live here was already long gone. You'd think his parents would have taught him the heritage of his people and where he lives. You'd think they would have been like, okay, son, here's where, like, here's the ancient fucking buildings that we used to inhabit. He doesn't seem to have any kind of understanding or respect for these, like, historic locations. He just blew one up with a frickin' bomb. And again, these water pumpings, I don't think these were built by Eggman. Because what function would they serve for his launch pad, right? These were here as part of the ancient ruin that he's building his launch pad on top of. So the pipings here, like, this was a city. This, or you could, not quite a factory, but, like, these are the sewage pipes. Like, these are like the aqueducts of ancient Rome. And the pipage would fucking bring the water from home to home. And we're kind of like, you know, those parts of the city that you just don't go to because it's, like, where all the blue-collar workers go, I guess. Like, that's sort of where we are in terms of how this location probably functioned. Like, you had the regular houses, and then you had, like, the pipe runoff, you know, the sewage runoff, but, like, not the bad kind of sewage, just what all the water runs through. Like when you're playing SimCity, and like the yellow zones. I think it's the yellow zones that are like blue collar industrial locations, and then you have the like places where people live, and then the entertainment zones. Like Carnival Night Zone was in blue. That was an entertainment zone. Or I don't know. I haven't played enough SimCity 4. But you know what I mean. That's like the kind of layout here. And again, like, you get the impression that Knuckles doesn't really have any kind of understanding, which again implies that they've been long gone. He doesn't have any kind of historic knowledge or respect for his heritage, this location. It's not like, okay, I need to safeguard, like... Whew, close one. I need to safeguard, like, this is the ancient place where my people once lived. Like, he's not... He doesn't know! He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna blow it up to deal with this nemesis. Which, again, implies that... Why is he here? What's he safeguarding so carefully from Sonic and Tails? What else is here that we haven't seen that he is apparently taking care of and safeguarding from trespassers? Because it's clearly not the historic value of his ancestral homeland. There's clearly something else here. Fuck you. I do wish you could turn off Supersonic if you wanted to, though, because he is still really unruly to control. In terms of, like, he's super sensitive and just flies all over the place. But thankfully, there are very few zones that I feel like aren't designed with Supersonic in mind. I feel like a lot more zones in this game are designed with, like, okay, they might have Supersonic, so don't make it all fucked up and crazy with precision platforming, because there were a good few stages in Sonic 2 that were like, if you're Supersonic, you're just not making it. Like a Sky Battery, not Sky Battery, like the Air Fortress one, dun 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 dun. That stage, if you were Supersonic on that stage, you would just be fucked. I feel like there are much fewer, if any, stages of that description in this game where if you're Supersonic, you're just fucked. It's much more Supersonic friendly, the level design this time around. Here's my favorite part. Watch this. Yeah, we're right. Oh, fuck you, Tails. We're riding Eggman's little Eggmobile, and Knuckles is like, "Fuck you, buddy. You're a dick. Eggman is my buddy. I'm gonna stop you from fucking with him. Ha ha ha." And that is the last time you ever see Knuckles in Sonic 3. No climactic battle, he just gets fucked by the launch platform collapsing under him as the Death Egg is taking off. And he's like, no, and that's it. Like, this guy has been antagonizing you throughout the entire game, and you never get to properly deal with him. He just gets, like, it's basically a joke. Because this is the final level in Sonic 3, this is the final boss of Sonic 3. Actually, no, it's not. This isn't the final boss. Wow, Tails! Just demolishing that guy. And it takes place on the bottom of the launch platform for the Death Egg taking back off into the sky. Eggman's trying to launch the Death Egg, but we defeated him. And by doing that, apparently we destroyed the rocket propulsion system that was firing the Death Egg back off into the sky. I guess somehow that happened, and thus... There's the Death Egg plummeting once again, plummeting from the heavens and landing down on Angel Island, which we actually see where it lands on the title screen of Sonic and Knuckles. But since that was the... I'll cut in the endings to Sonic 3, like, by itself in here, because That's the ending of Sonic 3. That's it.
So, if you went ahead and bought Sonic 3 by itself back in 1993 when it came out, because Sonic and Knuckles wasn't out yet, this was the final boss. Eggman goes, "Oh, what, was that not enough for you? Okay, you want a real final boss? Here you fucking go, you little bitch." So instead of just beating that boss, and then having the launch of the Death Egg plummeting, you instead get a real final boss here, and this boss is fucking bullshit. This boss is really fucking difficult. I hope you have Supersonic and brought 50 rings, because otherwise it's gonna be a very difficult fight. The fucking, like, margin of where you can hit him is not quite as bad as the ending of Sonic 2, but it's still pretty bad. I guess this is something to make up for the fact that Sonic and Knuckles was just a blatant ripping out of the second half of the game. Like, this is a reasonable, like, it's still pretty bare bones in terms of a final boss. It's literally just the Eggmobile with a spiky top hat, a jetpack, and some shitty arms glued on there. And again, this is a boss you only fight if you're playing Sonic 3 by itself. This design never shows up in Sonic and Knuckles. For good reason, because it's not very fucking good. But you go ahead and beat that, and since this is the ending of an entire game, when the launch platform blows up and starts hurtling down through the sky, it's the same thing, except a darker sky, but now... Oh no, it brightens back up. But now you see the Death Egg plummeting, and instead of crashing into the mountain, like in the title screen of Sonic and Knuckles, it just fucking explodes, because you beat Sonic 3. You did it. You saved the day. A horrible, horrible retcon that will be fixed in future... in future lore. And if you got all the Chaos Emeralds, you saw Supersonic saying like, "Yeah, good job, buddy," and you get this scene, which is the proper, like, conclusion scene. Good job, you beat Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Sonic 3, oh my god. Sonic 3, thanks for playing half of this fucking game. Thanks for wasting your fucking full price on this half of a game. And then if you beat him without getting all 6 Chaos Emeralds, all 6, Jesus Christ, all 7 Chaos Emeralds, if you only have 6 Chaos Emeralds, you don't have Supersonic, it still blows up, which I think is hilarious. I think it should have just plummeted and you don't get a real ending. So instead you just have a shitty sprite of Sonic being like, "Yeah, good job." And the conclusion scene is, instead of, "Yeah, Sonic 3," it's Knuckles still being an antagonist and still palling around with Dr. Robotnik, saying like, "Get the Chaos Emeralds next time, you idiot." So that's the ending of Sonic 3. That's all you get.